I'm gonna try making a video again while riding my bike. This magnet is strong enough. It makes me nervous. Certain bumps can kick in, brain, kick in. Think of something. Me think of something? Shit. How about more like stop thinking? One of my issues with communication or people understanding me or trusting me or just communication in general is take this out. The camera didn't see that. There's a bunch of people I almost hit. Stay on, folks, stay on. I think I picked a bad time to film. Mamma mia. This sidewalk is jacked up. It's starting to get smooth now, but behind me is jacked up old cement sidewalk. Hello. Yeah, and if I hit the wrong bumps, it'll make the phone fall off or me wipe out or whatever. But anyways, when it comes to me thinking, it's not something I can explain it, but it doesn't mean the person will understand. With most things in life, myself included, everyone, is being able to take that thought or image or whatever's in your mind, your brain, to explain it perfectly clear to the other person. Hell, even when people act it out or draw it out, they don't do it exactly as what they're envisioning or thinking. So, hold on, let me cross. I try to tell people, I'm like, you know how people multitask? Well, sometimes that's like how my thoughts are. And sometimes, because I can think of, let's say I can have 3 things going on in my mind that are all separate, that are interwoven, or like roots from one tree and another all intertwining. And I know that might sound like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. So an example of it causing issues in my life with another person is when I'm being, okay, there's honesty, but there's different ways. Here my brain goes right now. When I'm like brutally honest or just being very truthful, not everyone explains the truth in the same way. You got people who sugarcoat, people who have some lies interwoven in it. There's people who say it, but it's still not a full truth or not clear. It's too watered down to get the full image. But anyways, and here's an example, because it makes it hard for me to explain something in a simple way. It makes people not want to listen. A person asked me if a comment that I wrote under a post was about them. And the 100% infinity truth was, it wasn't. But here's an example of multitasking thoughts, or more than 1-2 thoughts overlapping, intertwining at the same time. Is I said, but it did cross my mind, and I can see how it relates. And because my dumbass said that, because I wanted to be fully honest, that was perceived as it was about them. You see how that causes headaches and issues within friendships, relationships, whatever. It's actually a moment that I think about often. Like, why, Dave? You could have saved yourself such a big headache. But the thing was, I let it come out because I wanted to be fully honest with that person. And it's like a lot of people in this world, they draw a line, or they follow the social norm, what is most accepted. And people get mad when I say that stuff, or they think like I'm talking like I'm better than them, or just being a dick, but it's a fact. Most people follow the herd. It doesn't mean that everyone does it like 100%. They might do it a little bit here or there. Technically, we all do to some extent, knowingly or not. But a person like me, oftentimes, and I mean often, daily, crosses that imaginary line that our social status, our the world, society. Fucking A, there's so much fucking noise. Sorry, I'm trying to practice not swearing, but it's not easy all the time. Even within like metalheads, freaks, the outcast type of people, like my type of people, or the awkward social downtrodden, even within that group, the one that's least likely to be like everyone else still has its imaginary lines of rules and how they operate, function, whatever you would call it. And it's difficult for me when somebody wants the truth, because I've so been my version of being honest, or brutally honest, or whatever. I've been trying to, I guess you could say, work on it. And in other people's eyes, it's easy, or they think I'm just making excuses or bullshitting. I don't know why, but the sound of all these cars is pissing me off. Like I can't think. Feeling irritable. Yes. Like, and it is very frustrating when you're being honest with somebody, but they think that it's excuses. It's like, I don't know, they think all kinds of stuff people do. they think it's excuses at any time. What is that called? Playing victim or whatever. The victim card or whatever. We're all victims. But no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to explain a situation for you, the people, to understand me. Like, that's another thing. Like, how else are you supposed to understand me unless I explain it the way I know how? It's like I either just don't say nothing or I say it the way I know how. Let me say. A lot of times, in order for me to explain a situation that has happened in my life, I have to say it the way I know how. And it's usually, not usually, but there's a lot of situations that aren't pretty or nice. And in my mind, if I'm to tell you the truth, I gotta say it what sounds like the truth to me. Not by covering it up with sugar. I have such a, see, it irritates me because I can't even hear my own voice, the sound of all the vehicles. It irritates me. Wow, what the fuck was I gonna say? Fucking hey, man. I can't think with all this. Fuck, man, I'm having a hard time right now. Sorry about that, folks. But what you see is the truth. Not trying to sugarcoat. That's what I was trying to say. So look, I'm putting some sugar on my tongue so I can soften up the blow of my words. Ramble the scattered thoughts. Old man ignorant. But what I wanted to say was a million things at once. Because it all spreads off. One of my best friends, when me and her talk, it's like that. We create new roots on a tree or back roads that never existed. That's the way we would say it. I've been trying to work on how to, I guess, speak softer, how to mix the perfect amount of brutal honesty with the right amount of sugar. Sugar's bad for you. The right amount of softness. I want people to know that I'm speaking from the heart. I'm not yelling at them. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just very passionate, or sometimes I'm just frustrated with a situation, with a topic. I just have been, I guess you could say, going through a change, growth. That's another thing that pops in my head when I think about the word growth. A conversation I had with a friend. I wish I could have reworded myself in that moment. Because they are right, we never stop growing. And it's good to grow. It's just that when they asked me at that time, I was having one of my millions of thoughts going off at the same time when they asked me. And they came off the wrong way. I was just thinking in my mind in that moment, like, what things, what subjects, what things, what parts of our life get to a point where they don't grow. I'm trying to think, okay, like a person. They're never going to get taller. They stop growing. That's a fact. If anything, they'll get shorter. Unless they do some health things, like an inversion table and work on their spine, they might be able to add an inch or two. But that's something for a fact that we know stops growing unless we intervene into our natural thing. That's what I was said that in that moment. That was something that I meant by that. But when it comes to our soul, we are the person. That growth never stops. Especially if we're working on ourselves. Me rambling and saying all of that was trying to say that that's part of my growth. I'm trying to work on creating. That's the word I use. I want people to know that I do have a good heart. I want them to know what the heart without it coming off negative all the time. That even the anger that I have is coming from a place of caring and love. It's not a type of anger that's not malice or spite or malicious or evil. It's not that type of anger. It's the anger caused when you see injustice. When you see somebody being punished that is doing a good thing. Or the type of anger or frustration when I'm not able to explain myself clear. Or wishing that I could invent a machine that would let people know my soul's true essence. That part that only God knows, like knows with absolute certainty. There's no other way around it. Like I can tell somebody I love them, and I mean it 100%. Look them in the eyes, and they could be happy that I said that and stuff, but there still could be doubt there, because they don't know my soul's true essence. They just know what I say, or determine that based off of my actions and behavior. Yeah, that was something I always not created, but soul essence. I don't even know if I'm using those two words correctly combined. Essence. I like that word when I apply it to a person's soul. And I want people to know that within that barrier of thorns, the acacia thorns, like what they use to make O.M.I in Africa to protect against all the big animals, lions and stuff, that those thorns that you see surrounding my heart is within it the essence and love of a newborn baby, but mixed in is trauma and stuff. Why did I say that way? Just saying that my heart isn't as ugly as the words that come off my lips. I know I don't sound the nicest all the time, and I know I might sound like a prick or a dick, but beneath those words or that sound or tone is a good person, and you just have to get to know me, I guess. Sorry, that was just something on my mind that I had to get off. I hope you guys have a good day, a good rising, a good night. And I pray for the whole world, everyone. And I love you guys, and out.